Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii is a fantastic hack and also a really fun one. Despite that though, it is a really easy game, so to make it a bit harder, I'm going to be attempting to beat the game while collecting every single coin. I mean, why not? Before we can begin though, we have to lay down some ground rules. We have to grab every single coin in the game, but there are a few exceptions. Coins from enemies do not count, because enemies can infinitely respawn. Coins that infinitely respawn by themselves also do not count. If there's a secret exit in a level, we only have to get those coins when going for the secret exit, otherwise there would be no way back. If a P-switch turns brick blocks into coins, then I don't have to get those, since then I would have to get about a gazillion of them. Blue coins spawned by P-switches do count though. Another rule I'm gonna mention is that I won't allow multiplayer. This might sound a bit weird, but the reason for that is, well, that I don't actually have a second controller to use, so yeah. And finally, if I touch the checkpoint and die later on, I only have to collect the coins from the checkpoint on, since, well, we already know if the first half will be possible or not. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. Starting off with 1-1, it was a really easy level, which isn't really a big surprise. One thing I learned though is that 10 coin blocks aren't like normal ones, but instead also spew out a burst of coins when you hit them enough times. Now in this level that was no issue, but that might be problematic in later levels, we'll see. Upon entering 1-2, I learned yet another thing about this game. Spin jumping in front of these flowers gives you a coin for each flower. Now, you might be thinking that I have to collect these flower coins, but I'm actually going to say no. I actually watched a couple of videos from Nathaniel Bandy, and in those videos he actually went through and collected every coin from these flowers. But I am not going to be collecting them, simply because, well, they are more than possible and it would just be a waste of time. Now, you could argue that because of the time limit in levels, I do have to grab them, but I digress. Back to the actual level, it was extremely easy. All of the coins were easily reachable. 1-3 was yet again an easy level. 1-4 though is a slightly different story. The beginning of the level wasn't too bad, but then I came across this 10 coin block. The problem was the burst of coins at the end. It seems that the coins always landed in a poison. However, it turns out I was just an idiot because later I realized I could just ground pound the block and the coins would stay on the platform. Yeah. The rest of the level is extremely easy, so it's 100% possible. Next up is 1 tower, and it had no issues, which is good. Moving on to 1-5, and let me tell you this, it was pure hell. The first couple of seconds were not too bad, but then I came across the first platform and saw a split path. And of course, both paths have coins. There was no way I was going to be able to do this without the propeller mushroom. My first strategy was to take the bottom path first, get all the coins, and then try to fly all the way back to the beginning of the section to be able to take the top path. While this might sound scary, I somehow got it on my second attempt, so that was not too bad. But that's just the beginning, because there are even more of these sections. Instead of the next one having 2 split paths, there are now 3, which makes it a lot more difficult. I knew I had to plan this out carefully, so I did. My first plan was to take the bottom path first again, but quickly I realized that was a horrible idea. My next idea was to take the top one first instead, and immediately it went a bit better. However, then I realized another thing yet again. I need to actually go back and take the other 2 paths, obviously. My thinking was that I could fly as far as possible, land on his exclamation block, and then fly the rest, because then it would be pretty straightforward. I first tried flying back to the beginning after the platform fell. I got very close, but it was not enough. Then I tried timing it so that I flew back as soon as I got the last coin, and it actually worked, because I landed on a block exactly how I planned. After that, I took the other 2 paths, and it was actually pretty easy from there. But of course, there had to be another section. But this one definitely was not as bad as that last one. It was actually quite easy. And after all of that, this level is possible, thank God. But trust me guys, this sounds a lot easier than it actually was. I dare you to go try it out yourself. Let's just say I'm thankful for the propeller mushroom even existing, otherwise this level would not have been possible in the slightest. Next is 1-6, and you would think that after that horrifying level we just went through, this would be easy, right? Wrong. This level is an underwater level, and it's not a good one. It all went great until I came to this section with this 10 coin block. This might not look that bad, but as you can see, the block is right next to a bubble shooting pipe, which makes it much harder to get all the coins. I tried getting these coins a good amount of times, but I didn't even get close to collecting all of them. Eventually, I just gave up, because I know this just isn't possible unless you're like a task bot or something. And even if it were possible to get all the coins from this block, later in the level there's this P-switch, and I want you to take a close look at what happens when I press the switch. Yeah, this is not happening. Now, does this mean that the game is already impossible to beat while collecting every single coin? Well, not yet. I have one more trick up my sleeve, but it's gonna require us to beat the level and come back to it later, because we'll need to gain access to the secret exit, which is only accessible after pressing the yellow switch in the Switch Palace, so we'll need to beat 1/8 first. And 1/8 wasn't actually too bad. It was rather straightforward, including the secret exit. There were not a lot of coins in this level. So that means we have access to the yellow Switch Palace. All we need to do is press the switch. Wait, there's a P switch? Are you freaking kidding me? Now, this is probably possible with multiple players, but with one player, this is never going to happen. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to say that it is not possible to beat New Super Mario Bros. Wii while collecting every coin. And that's really sad because we've only just begun. We didn't even get past the first world. Anyway, while the game might not be beatable while collecting every coin, we can still see how many levels total we can beat. There's still a ton of levels to go through, so let's swiftly move on. Going back to World 1, 1-7 was really easy. The same applies to 1 Castle. There were honestly not a lot of coins to collect. It was all more than doable. But then we enter 1 Airship, and my god, it was a pain in the tuchus. And once again, it was because of a P-switch. This P-switch spawns a bunch of coins. I tried for a good couple of times, but there was no success. But then I came up with the idea to freeze one of the Mecha Koopas earlier in the level and to throw it at the coins. Once again, I tried this idea a lot of times, but none of my attempts seemed to come close. But then, this happened. Yep, I actually pulled it off. But look how close that was. I barely got that last coin. The rest of the level was easy, fortunately. So 1 Airship is beatable. So out of every level in World 1, only 2 of them are impossible, which is quite a good start. Overall, this world was quite a rough warm-up to this challenge, especially 1-5. Let's hope World 2 will start a bit more easygoing. Moving on to World 2, 2-1 was indeed quite a nice level, especially after that last one. It was more than possible. 2-2 was also really easy. However, by looking at the map of the level, I found out that there's actually a completely new bonus area which I never knew of before. But even then, this level was a cakewalk. 2-3, however, was another trip to hell, and yet again, it's because of a P-switch. So my first strategy was to use a propeller mushroom to have both a bigger hitbox and a faster way to get the first set of coins. I tried this so many times, and even got close on some attempts, but I never managed to grab all of them. Attempt after attempt, I always missed at least 2 or 3 coins, no matter how fast I was moving. Even if this was possible, which with multiplayer is easily doable by the way, later in the level there's this. So yeah, this level totally ain't happening. Now 2-4 was just pure torture. The first half of the level is really easy, but the part after the checkpoint is what makes this level a beast to complete. There is this section with a split path, one path containing a star coin and 5 coins, and the other also containing coins. I thought this was impossible because I needed to get all of them, of course. I tried taking the bottom path first and then taking the warp pipe, but unfortunately the warp pipe puts me past the other coins, so that's not an option. At first I thought this level was impossible, but after many other levels finished, I finally decided to try this level again. Then I realized I don't actually need to get the star coin. So what I tried was to get the 5 coins on the bottom, then move as quickly as possible to the top and get the remaining coins. This was so much harder than it sounds. I tried it for what felt like hundreds of times, and a lot of my attempts got really close. But after so many tries, this happened. I actually managed to pull it off, but my god, this was ridiculously difficult. I'm glad it's finally over. 2 tower was going all well, until I came across this red coin ring. The problem here is that there are coins on opposite sides of the platforms, so getting both the normal and the red coins at once was going to be impossible. At first I really thought this level was unbeatable, but then I actually used my brain and collected the normal coins before collecting red coins. And it was actually extremely easy after figuring that out. At least until getting to yet another P-switch. I'm really starting to hate these things. This P-switch spawns so many coins, and they are on opposite sides of the screen, making it even worse. At first I tried throwing something at the coins with Penguin Mario, but then I realized there were no enemies to actually freeze, so that's great. However, I was once again thinking way too much, because all I had to do was just damage boost through and be quick, and that's it. So to sum up, 2 tower is actually possible. After 2 tower I had a streak of very easy levels, including 2-5, 2-6, 2-7 and 2-8. None of these levels caused any issues at all. After that though, 2-9 is actually impossible, but it's because of the stupidest reason. There's a bonus area with a star coin and a bunch of invisible blocks. However, there are actually 3 coin blocks which I can't reach because the screen is too small. Yeah, seriously, there are actually blocks outside of the zone. Like, are you kidding me? 2A was fortunately an easy level, but 2 Castle is yet another impossible level. At the end, there is this runaway section with 2 warp pipes at the end taking you to 2 different rooms. And as you guessed it, both rooms have coins and there's no way to switch between those rooms, making this level impossible. 2 airship is also impossible, and it's because of such a stupid reason. There is this bonus room with a star coin and a bunch of crates, and one of the crates releases a bunch of coins but also makes the metal boxes fall. No matter how many times I tried, there were always some coins being squished by the metal blocks. I didn't even know that was a thing, but okay. So that means that out of all the levels in World 2, 4 out of the 12 levels are impossible, which is not too bad. Moving on to World 3, 3-1 is already impossible, and it's because of this little mushroom right here. And you might be thinking, why is this mushroom the problem? That's because it drops a coin when you spin in front of it. Now, I know I said we're not gonna get these flowers or mushrooms, but with this mushroom existing, I actually changed my mind, because while I did say these infinitely respawn, it only happens per area reload and not naturally. So that means I'm actually going back to the levels containing flowers and see if they are still possible. And, well, they still are. Yep, all of them, including 1-2, 1-4, 1-5, and 1-6. From now on, I'm gonna try to collect these coins in future levels. 3-2 is also impossible, and that's because we can't reach these blocks on the side. There's not even a Koopa shell we can throw, and Yoshi has no magic tongue or something like that. So yeah, not happening. 3-3 and 3-4 were both really easy levels with no major complications. 3 tower is yet again impossible. There's a split path around the middle of the vertical section, where you can either continue riding the platform or go through a path into a bonus room. And of course, both paths have coins, making it impossible. Next up is Fungi Pit, without a doubt the best level in the game. Okay, jokes aside, it is another impossible level, and again because of his split path. Like, really? After those 2 levels though, I once again had a streak of very simple levels, including 3-6, 3-7, 3 Castle, and 3 Airship. None of these levels were difficult at all, even the auto-scrolling Castle level. So, out of all the levels in World 3, 6 out of 10 are possible, which isn't that bad, but all of these impossible levels were just because of this stupidest reason. All of these made me so angry, or well, more or less just frustrated or disappointed. I don't even know what the right word is. That's how dumb these levels were. Moving on to World 4, probably one of my least favorites in the game. But anyway, 4-1 is already impossible. There's this auto-scrolling section with coins basically everywhere, and with just 1 player, this was not gonna happen. It's probably possible with extreme precision, but I'm gonna to mark this level as impossible, just because I don't want to spend hours on a single level. 4-2 and 4-4 were really easy levels, but 4-3 is another story, and it's because of this P-switch. Hitting this P-switch spawns a bunch of coins, so I knew this was gonna be really difficult. I tried for dozens and dozens of times, but none of my attempts came close. After trying the same thing over and over, I eventually gave up and came up with the idea to freeze a shy guy from later in the level and throw it at the coins. So I tried yet again dozens of times, and I still did not get all the coins, even though I played pretty much as perfect as I could. I got very close on some attempts, knowing this might be possible, but after yet another dozen tries, I eventually gave up and accepted my defeat. So yeah, this level might be possible with even more accuracy and insane precision, but again, I don't want to spend hours on one level. After that horrendous level, 4 tower and 4-5 were extremely easy. 4-6 though is impossible, and it's because of a 10 coin block that is right above a gap. Even with the best luck possible, there is no possible way to grab all of them. 4-7, 4 castle, 4 airship, and 4 switch pallets were all very straightforward levels, and more than possible. There is nothing to really talk about for these levels, they just took a bit of time. So that means that out of all the 12 levels in World 4, only 3 of them are not possible, which is quite good. Technically, you can tick off 4-1 and 4-3 as well with insane precision, and probably even 4-6 with extreme luck and precision, but again, I don't have that much time to put in just a few levels. Moving on to World 5, 5-1 is already impossible, and it's because of this damn 10 coin block. I don't really have to say anymore, do I? 5-2 was a really annoying level because there were so many coins in these ice blocks which I had to get, but otherwise it's totally possible. 5-3 was an extremely simple level, but 5-4 and 5-5 were both impossible because of the frozen coins. There were so many of them that were just floating above a death pit, or in the case of 5-4, there was a moving platform which made it impossible to get the frozen coins in time. 5 tower is impossible because of yet again another 10 coin block. I'm really starting to hate these things as well, you know. 5-6 was a very short and easy level, so that's good. And the same goes for 5-7 and 5-8. There's really nothing to talk about for these levels. 5-9 is impossible, and I'll just give you a couple of seconds to guess what the culprit of this level is. If you guessed frozen coins, then you're right. Congratulations! 5A has 3 coins above lava that seem impossible to get at first glance. However, just use a propeller suit and you're good to go. And finally, 5 castle and 5 airship. These levels were both really straightforward. Swimming through the spiked corridor in 5 castle without a penguin suit was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life, but other than that, these levels were easy. So that means that out of all the levels in World 5, a total of 8 out of 13 were possible, which is not too bad, but it could have been a tad bit better if there weren't so many goddamn frozen coins. Like every single impossible level besides 5-1 and 5 tower were all impossible because of these damn frozen coins. Anyway, let's move on to World 6. 6-1 starts off with a free fall with coins on a split path. Yay! But that's not the worst part. No, right afterwards we come across a 10 coin block which is constantly swinging around and is above a death pit, making it impossible to collect the coins from it. Yeah, this level isn't happening. And 6-2 doesn't fare any better. This level contains a bunch of these giant pumpkins, some of them dropping a few coins and some of them not. And guess what? There's one right next to a death pit. Does it drop any coins, you might ask? Yeah, well of course it does. Thanks game. Luckily 6-3 is a fairly easy level. It does take a lot of time to collect all the coins because it's a fairly big level and there's a bunch of grave robbing to do, but all of the coins are easily obtainable. 6A has these random hidden coins throughout basically the entire level, but all of them are 100% possible to grab, even though it might take a bit of time. And here's 6 tower, there to ruin all the fun once again. Just like in 6-2, there's a 10 coin block which is swinging around the whole time, making it extremely annoying to grab the coins from it. However, you don't even have to try this time, since later in the level there's a bunch of split paths, each one of them having coins, making it impossible to collect all of them because of the rising platform. Fortunately, 6-4 was more than doable. It was actually an extremely easy level, despite it taking place in complete darkness for the majority of it. 6-5 was extremely extremely annoying because of the Mad Moon constantly chasing us, but otherwise it was a fairly simple level. 6-6 is next, and I take back what I said about 6-5 because this is by far the most annoying level ever. Not only are there a crap ton of boos everywhere, but also a bunch of extremely annoying crowds ready to attack at any time, making collecting the literally hundreds and hundreds of coins in this level really difficult. And I tried for literally dozens of times, but I kept getting hurt by the crowds or the boos, and that doesn't sound that bad, but we need the propeller suit later on in the level. So yeah, if you're willing to spend hundreds of hours and countless amount of tries on one level, go ahead, but I'm gonna say it's impossible. 6-7 was a very easy level, even if a little bit boring. 6-8 is a slightly interesting level, at least for this challenge. Around the middle of the level, there is a big pipe bringing us to this room with a bruiser and a bunch of brick blocks. And it wouldn't have been a problem at all if literally every single block in this room would not have coins. Like, what is this nonsense? This is so unfair. Besides this boo being on freaking drugs in 6 Castle, the level was simple enough. 6 Airship was going well until I came across this bonus room with a bunch of coins floating above a death pit. And yeah, this is simply not happening. Future Bjorn speaking here, this level is actually possible. I tried this bonus room with the propeller suit and it's actually possible to get all the coins. You just need to be a little bit precise, but other than that, it's actually pretty easy. Anyway, back to the script. So that means that out of all the levels in World 6, only 6 out of 12 are possible. Man, that really sucks, but hopefully World 7 will fare a little bit better than this world. Starting off with 7-1, it was an extremely simple level. There were actually barely any coins here, making it even easier. 7-2 is an auto-scroller, and you all know how much I love those, right? Okay, to be honest, it really isn't that bad. The only kind of difficult thing is this section with a P-switch, because not only do you have to get all the coins from the P-switch, but there's also a hidden block with the coin above the platform the P-switch hangs from, and coins above a death pit, which you also have to get before the auto-scroller goes too far up and you die. That all sounds pretty difficult to do, but really it was actually quite simple with a little bit of forward thinking. So yeah, this level is possible. 7-3 is by far one of the best levels in the game, and it got even better because it's possible while collecting every coin. Now that we've come to space, things will get a lot more interesting with a low gravity, and hopefully a bit easier as well. And immediately, 7-4 is a great example of that. It went pretty much as good as it could go. The low gravity and propeller suit definitely helped out, and while it did take a while to collect every coin, it was super easy and 100% possible. 7 Tower went quite smoothly as well. I was a bit worried these moving 10 coin blocks wouldn't be possible to collect, but luckily they were, making this level possible and super easy as well. 7-5 has a really tight jump to make, which is especially annoying since we need to keep the propeller suit for this final section, but other than that it was easy. Now, just take a look at 7-6. Yeah, this isn't happening. Next is 7-7, and it's yet again impossible due to a bonus room. There's this room full of spike tops and brick blocks, and if it weren't for the fact that every single brick block had a coin in them, this level would have easily been possible. But nope, of course they had to ruin it for me, stupid blocks. 7-8 is a very easy level. There's really nothing worth talking about. 7 Castle though, let me tell you this. You need godlike luck to beat this level. Near the end of the level, there's this 10 coin block above a question block, along with a star coin and 3 coins next to it. Does that sound bad enough? No? Well, what if I told you there are meteors falling down constantly in random places? Yeah, I thought so. This level is basically impossible because of these damn meteors. You need to get both the 3 coins in the air and the coins from the block, and that's just not happening without an insane amount of luck. 7 Airship was easy enough though, and the same goes for the Blue Switch Palace. So out of all the levels in World 7, 8 out of 11 were possible, which I'm pretty happy with. Now, let's move on to World 8. 8-1 went pretty well until I came to 8-10 coin block. Yay, my arch nemesis. And if it wasn't for the fact that this level is basically an auto-scroller, it would have been easy. easy, but as it is now, it's impossible. 8-2 is yet another auto-scroller, and not just any. No, this auto-scroller goes insanely fast. In fact, it goes so quick that it makes the level impossible. There are way too many coins and coin outlines to collect, and the sheer speed of the auto-scroller makes this impossible. 8-3 is yet another impossible level, and not because of the fact that it's an auto-scroller, because it isn't. Not only are there multiple 10 coin blocks right next to lava, but also a bonus area full of coin outlines with rising lava, making collecting the coins here basically impossible. Man, World 8 has not been treating us well at all so far. Luckily, a tower was fairly easy, even though it did take a very long time to complete the level. But our luck doesn't last long at all though, since 8-4 is another impossible level. And just take a quick guess why. Yep, another 10 coin block right next to lava. Great! Screw all the 10 coin blocks, I swear. 8 Castle is fortunately a level that is possible and actually really easy, so that's cool. 8 Train though is impossible once again. Right at the start of the level we come across a bunch of crates with coins in them, and that wouldn't have been such a big problem if the level wasn't an auto-scroller yet again. Like World 8 is auto-scroller town or something. This is ridiculous. 8-6 is another impossible level. Goody. What's the reason this time? Well, a 10 coin block, of course. Duh. Futureborn here again? Man, I'm really terrible at playing this game for some reason. But 8-6 is actually possible. If you have the propeller suit, you can easily make it to the 10 coin block before the raft gets there, so you have enough time to get all the coins from the block. So yeah, it's possible. Yay! 8-7 is possible though. It took quite a while, but nonetheless it was possible and fairly easy as well. 8 Tower 2, despite being probably one of the most hated levels in the game, and for reasons I can completely understand, it was actually a really easy level, despite the rising lava. 8-8 is the infamous eruption crater, and unlike Pendulum Tower, this level is actually impossible due to the rising lava. The first section was easy, actually really easy, but the lava in the second half just rises too quickly for us to even stand a chance. Plus, there's a bunch of these really awkward 3 tall coin stacks which are really annoying to get. So yeah, this one is not happening. Maybe if you spend hours on it, you can do it, but as I said a bunch of times already, I ain't doing that. 8-9 is yet again impossible, and this time due to a P-switch spawning about a gazillion coins. It's only fair, right? 8A is a spine coaster level, so this is bound to be a heck of a challenge. And well, I was not wrong. The coasters move ridiculously quickly in this level. You barely have any wiggle room here. This level almost made me tear my hair out, but after a couple dozen tries, I did manage to collect all the coins. And finally, we have 8 Final Castle. Look, I don't want to be anticlimactic here, but this level was super easy, despite it being the final level in the game. Shoot Bowser in the face a bunch of times and you've beaten the game. So once again, is it possible to beat New Super Mario Bros. Wii while touching every coin? No, unfortunately not. But man, this challenge was a blast. And we're not even done. I made you think we were, right? Haha, you really thought we were done here? Nope, because we still have the bonus worlds to go through. 6 in fact. The first one being World A, so let's get right back into it. Starting off with A1, it was already terrifying, at least at first. After playing through the level a couple of times, it wasn't that bad. There was this 110 coin block put almost next to the edge of the screen, which made it quite scary to get the burst of coins at the end, but with some good timing, it really wasn't that bad, even though I did only have a second left at the end of the level. Moving on to A2, this level was quite straightforward. A3 though is another impossible level, and it's because of a 10 coin block. No matter how many times I tried, at least 1 or 2 coins always fell into the abyss, so there was no way to grab them. A4 is also impossible, and it's because of another 10 coin block. It's way too high to be able to hit it multiple times consecutively, and ground pounding also doesn't work because the gap is too small, and Small Mario only releases 1 coin at a time. A Fortress had me worried quite a bit at the beginning, because of this 10 coin block next to a bottomless pit. But with some careful timing, it was possible to grab the coins, and the rest of the level isn't much more difficult. I did almost run out of time because there are a lot of coins high in the air, but despite that, this level was fairly easy. So out of all the levels in World A, 3 out of 5 are possible, which is okay. Let's not get too distracted though, and move straight on to World B. B. B1 already doesn't start well, and it's literally because of the stupidest reason you can think of. You see these coins? Yeah? You see them tilt around? Yep, well that makes them invulnerable. And these blocks have coins in them. This is literally the dumbest thing ever. Like, really, man? I don't even know if this should count, but I will for the sake of consistency. Anyway, B2 was easy. There's really nothing to say about this one. B3 has these goddamn flowers again, but the level was still really easy, so no worries. B4 is an underwater level, and not just any underwater level. An auto-scrolling underwater level. Yeah, I'm serious. And so far, underwater levels have either been really easy or a big problem. This one is kind of in between. The level is very easy, besides this one section with 3 giant pipes. That's because the pipe at the top gives you a few coins, but the bottom one leads to a bonus room which also has coins in it. But this isn't actually the biggest problem, because the auto-scroller is slow enough for us to get to both the top and bottom pipe, even without a penguin suit. The main problem becomes clear when we leave the bonus room, because the pipe we come from puts us ahead of a ring of coins and we have to grab them. With normal Mario, there is no way to make it to the coins before the autoscroller makes them inaccessible. With Penguin Mario, however... Phew, I barely got that, but it means that this level is possible. Finally, B Fortress was really easy. There were barely any coins to collect, to be honest. So that means that out of all the levels in World B, 4 out of 5 are possible, which is pretty good, I guess. I'm still waiting for that one world that is 100% possible though, but the chances aren't that high anymore, so whether that will happen, we'll have to see. For now, let's just move on to World C. C1, despite being a level high in the sky, was extremely easy. Like, actually surprisingly simple. The same goes for C2. In fact, this one was even easier than C1, which might be a good sign. Let's hope it is. And I immediately take back everything I said, because C3 is the Parabeetle level. Look, I just need to say one thing. Fuck this level. I've tried for about a few dozen times, but every time the level just scrolls way too fast for us to even stand a chance. So it might be possible with a crap ton of precision, but I really don't have the patience or time for that. C4 though was pretty easy, even though I barely had any time left. And finally, C Tower. This one was really easy. There's nothing worth mentioning, to be honest. So out of all the levels in World C, 4 out of 5 are possible. Again, so close to 100%, but let's see if World D will fulfill that dream. D1 was easy enough, but D2 had a problematic problem. At the secret exit, there are some coins hanging over a bottomless pit. Normally, these are meant for you to turn into brick blocks to get the star coin, but we obviously need to get these. But with the propeller suit, it was actually no problem at all, and the problematic problem was no longer a problematic problem. Yay! D3 was another underwater level, and it was extremely easy, and DA was also really easy. Damn, so far every level in World D is possible. Will D Fortress ruin things, or will we get a full 100% victory here? Let's see. D Fortress was actually possible. So does it mean World D is entirely possible? Well, we still have the switch paths left, but luckily it has a total of 0 coins. So yeah, that means that out of every level in World D, 6 out of 6 are possible. That's fantastic. At least one world that's possible in its entirety. Next up is World E, starting with E1. Despite this level being an autoscroller, it was fairly easy. This section with the P-switch was a bit precise, and this one with the split path with wooden blocks was also a bit close, but even those things were not that difficult to pull off. E2 was nothing really difficult, but E3 has by far the most annoying thing ever. Near the beginning of the level, there are 6 brick blocks that have coins in them, and we have to somehow get the coins from the bottom 4 while having no access to any sort of Koopa shell. Basically, the only possible solution was to use the bob-ombs to break each layer of brick blocks one at a time, and this is a lot more tedious to execute than it sounds. And look, I don't want to be that guy who marks off seemingly impossible levels as impossible, but I really don't want to spend or even have the time to spend hours on just one level. So you're welcome to try, but for now I'll just say it is impossible. So yeah, 2 out of the 3 levels in World E are possible, so that's Worlds A through E done. However, we are still not done because we still have the special world. So for the last time, let's get into the next and final world. Starting off with 9-1, it was very easy. It had a relatively precise star run to make, but other than that, it was a cakewalk. 9-2 was also extremely easy. There's nothing to sweat over here, and the same goes for 9-3 despite us being in a volcanic desert. Okay, you can unsubscribe. 9-4 was no different, and 9-5, 9-6, 9-7, and 9-8 were also very easy. 9-9 has our good old friends frozen coins above a bottomless pit, so yeah, not happening. And finally, the very last level in the game, 9-10. Yeah, it really wasn't anything too bad. And there we have it. Every single level in Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii completed. Out of all the 132 levels that we went through, including the Switch Palaces, a total of 91 were possible. That's not necessarily a number I'm too happy with, but hey, I spent literally hundreds of hours, if not at least 1,000 on this challenge, and to be honest, I'm glad it's over. You could probably mark off at least 10 levels if you tried more than I did, but that's something for you to do. For now, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and do all that fancy stuff, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye!